Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are building a small cottage house. So it was quite fun to build. It is a small house, it's very small, it doesn't fit much in, but there's quite a lot of space. If you move some of the flowers in at the end, you can expand this house and make it kind of as big as you need to, you know. You can add a second floor if you want to, you can add another room at the back if you want a child, like a children's room or a study or just a little bit of extra space really. So I started off this build having literally no idea what I wanted to do. I was just like, I want to build a small cottage, and then just stared at my screen and I was like, what do I want to do? So I found a cottage that I liked the look of on Google and just kind of went from there. So I've kind of had a look at the outside and got the rough outline of the house shape from that, which then kind of led into everything else. This then really helped me know what I wanted to do for the exterior. So I've used a lot from Debug for this, just to make it kind of as cheap as possible. Well, not as cheap as possible. I could have used some stuff in the interior that was cheaper, but I didn't necessarily want it to be a starter home. I think it's about 21,000 or 22,000. It's not much more expensive than a starter home, and it could definitely, you know, you could live somewhere else for a little bit and then buy here. So yeah, I used a lot of stuff from Debug. I used a lot of like the fences, all of the plants, like pretty much everything on the outside is from Debug. Just to try and make it a little bit easier on our wallets. And plus the Debug stuff's always really nice. Cottage Living comes with some really nice Debug stuff. This is based in Henford-on-Bagley, a nice little cottage in the nice little rurally town. And I wanted it to be small because I didn't want it to be... When you have like the big farms on The Sims, they can take up so much time and they're so hard to manage. So I wanted something a little bit easier to manage and a little bit easier to get on with. So I thought this size was perfect, you know? Just a handful of crops, a cow, and a handful of chickens. That alone takes up enough of your time. And also, like I do in my other builds, I've made a sim that I thought would live here. I kind of figured maybe her grandfather or a relative had passed away and left her this little cottage farmland, and she's new. She's never been to the countryside before. She doesn't really know what she's doing, so she's just taken it on. She's kind of learned as much as she can before she came here. She loved animals, and she's picked up, you know, little bits here and there, but she's now finally just getting used to the life and getting used to what she needs to do. And she's really enjoying it, really having a good time. I also thought that made more sense for a small farm, rather than, you know, just coming into farming for the first time and taking on some humongous farm that you have no idea what to do with. So it does look quite overgrown. There's like bits growing on the house, a lot of flowers, a lot of this wisteria, growing on the barn, growing on the little shed out back, just lots of other bits. So I thought putting the birdhouse in the tree was really cute. And then I tried to add other little details. So like you've got the broken fence, and then by the broken fence you've got a fallen log. So maybe a small tree has like fallen over and just destroyed that bit of fence, and you know, no one's ever got around to fixing it because it doesn't really make much of a difference all the way back there. And I end up really loving how this looks, and I am so excited to properly play in it. Actually, I wish I could just live here. I think I just made my dream, my in real life dream cottage house. Because, oh, it would be so lovely. Just something about escaping to the country and getting out of the city. Because right now I live in a really big city, and it's... yeah, I'd much rather live in a little country house like this. Although, maybe not, because I imagine you'd get quite a few spiders in there, and I don't do well with spiders. That's the nice thing about living in a flat, is that you barely ever get any spiders, so the perks, I guess. The one perk. So again, I used all of these flowers and stuff from Debug. And usually I kind of go a bit overboard with flowers, like using different types of flowers. I'm like, I must use one of everything. But this time I've just used a handful of plants in one or two different colours, and kind of gone from there, and I think it looks really nice. And I think using the kind of pinks and purples helps make it feel a little bit more whimsical, a little bit like a fairy garden. So it's really cute in the end, and yeah, definitely live here. So at the back here I make a little seating area, just a nice little place, you know, you can sit. You can enjoy the flowers that you've planted, imagine sitting there in the morning, having a cup of tea, smelling all of these fresh flowers around you, the bees buzzing in the background. I put a bee box at the back. Just having a really nice day. What a perfect way to start your morning. I literally couldn't think of anything better. I love the lights going from the tree to the house as well. They look so nice, especially at night when it's all lit up. It just looks like such a relaxing place to be. So I've also added some extra flowers, just kind of climbing up the building a little bit. I think they're from Jungle Adventure, And then I ended up adding some white ones from, I think, Eco Living. I ended up adding some like white, I'm not really sure what they are, but they're ground plants, not climbing plants. But yeah, this pack mostly uses Cottage Living. I don't know how many packs it uses in total. Probably I end up using accidentally quite a few, but I'm thinking it wouldn't use that many because I mostly just used Cottage Living. And then down here, I wasn't really sure what to put down here. So in the end, I went with another little planting field, and I figured this one could be for flowers. You've got your fruit and veg in the other one, and you've got flowers here as well. Maybe you could sell flowers in your spare time, or get a flower arranging table. Actually, I think I'd put in a flower arranging table, so you could like sell some flowers in time. I originally went with the gravel because I wanted it to look a bit more realistic, rather than these like. But then I remembered about these pink cobblestone things, and I absolutely loved it. I feel like it fit in so much more with the vibe, with the whole pink and purple flowers. I think just putting the kind of cobblestones down with the pinky flowers underneath really made it look special. Definitely made it feel a bit more fantasy and a bit more like a fairy garden, just adding in all of the pink. So here we are, just adding in some more flowers, and again it's just the same flowers all the way around. It was fun to do. It was really fun to make. I really liked going through and adding in all of the flowers. I've obviously sized them up, sized them down, rotated some, just to kind of add a little bit more depth and variation. Make it look a little bit more natural, because obviously in real life all of your plants don't all grow exactly the same size and face the same way and all look the same. So I've play tested it, but I've not played in it yet, and I honestly haven't really played much in Cottage Living. I've used the build items so much, but I've not really played in Henford and Bagley. I think I played about a couple of days of it when it first came out and just did some of the quests for locals. Not really sure why I didn't play in it. I just didn't. So I'm very excited to kind of play through it and play through some of the, like getting to know the locals and doing some of the fairs and doing all of that, because I didn't really do much of that before. So I think this will be the perfect house to start that off in. And if I decide that my sim wants a baby or like a child, what I'll probably do is just take away the flowers at the back and add in a small extension. There's definitely enough for a small child's room there, I think. And if I needed more room, I could just add on another floor. I saw these in debug, the whole chicken and the fox, and I thought they were so lovely, and I just really wanted to include them, so I've added them onto the fence, and I think they look really nice. I'm just going through and adding some mushrooms in some place you'd expect to find some mushrooms. Even added some hidden ones inside of the log. Just trying to add some tiny details in where I can. Just because, when you go out and you're looking for mushrooms, they're always around logs, underneath, growing in logs, and yeah, so I figured it made sense. This little section down here I struggled with so much. I originally wanted like a selling table, so you could maybe sell some eggs. Like when you go to a farmhouse in real life and people are just selling some kind of produce sometimes. But then I thought it'd be annoying to play with, and I kind of figured I wanted it to be, I didn't really want anyone coming up here for like business reasons. It's just a little house. You can always go to the market and sell stuff, and it's not that far away. Or if you have to get to work, obviously you can buy a retail space and just have a little shop that you sell produce from. Have your own little tiny farm shop. So in the end, I just got rid of the selling table and I just added, surprisingly, more plants. But I did some planter boxes down there as well. Not functional ones, but you can definitely add, I thought maybe they could add in some different types of plants if the Sims felt like it at some stage, so you could add in something a bit different that's not in the garden. And then now we've moved on to the interior. I always do the interior first. I never ever start with the exterior, so this was a little bit different. I liked it. It was fun starting with the exterior actually, and then as soon as I've done the interior I'm like, oh, I'm done. I don't have all the exterior to do. So I really struggled with this because I don't really build I build kind of a little bit more modernish houses, not really older styled houses or country styled houses. But I thought this was really super cute. I love the way the kitchen is in the middle with these little half walls and then the cabinets going all the way across. I think it works really nicely and I think it looks really good. Adds a little bit of charm and character to the house. I've added in some stone tiles just to the kitchen and the fireplace and the entryway. Figured it'd be easier to clean than the wood. So just decorating it up a little bit. So again, like I've just imagined my sim has just moved here. Her granddad used to live here and now she lived here. So maybe she's trying to add little touches and add little bits where she can, but she's not managed to change much. She's young, she's not got a lot of money, she's just moved here, she's learning how to take care of the farm. Last thing she wants to do is renovate an entire house. And I really liked adding the curtains and blinds together. I thought that looked really good and so natural. Especially a lot of people here always have blinds and curtains together, so I feel like it made a lot of sense. Yeah, and then just adding in the few kind of final touches, the odd decorative bits, and little porchway, adding in some shoes and adding a coat rack and other little bits. I just wanted to try and make it look homely and lived in, but also still keep that cottage feel. And I couldn't clutter the kitchen up too much because obviously you need space to cook, and I always like cluttering up the kitchens, but had to tone it down a little bit, which is fine. So just going through and cluttering up the rest of the counters and adding bits in that are needed. And again, most of the interior stuff used was from Cottage Living. There's some bits that aren't, but a lot of it is Cottage Living. Although I think I ended up using the chairs from university because I thought they looked nicer than the Cottage Living chairs in there. Just look how nice it looks outside with all the lights off. Adding in an old retro TV and little clocks. Adding in just some final decorative bits. And this is the finished house. So this is my sim that I thought, oh, I could just move here. And as soon as I started filming, I was like, oh, I'll film it getting darker so the lights go on. But I put a clay bunny down there. As you can see, she just picks it up. I sized it up to make it fit a bit better. She picks it up, takes it inside and starts moulding it. I'm like, thanks. Thanks for just stealing the rabbit. So this is the finished look, minus the rabbit. And yeah, so you can see it's very overgrown, but it's very pretty and very nice and very easy to work with. So this is it. You can just enjoy it in the sunshine, go and spend some time just sitting down, eating grilled fruit by the bees. Although maybe you'd start getting harassed by the bees, I don't know. No, there's enough flowers for them, I'm sure they'll be fine. And look at that purple haze over the sun. Oh, it looks so nice in the corner. I'm absolutely in love with this plot of land. I just really love it. And then imagine just coming in after all of your hard farming and just chilling and watching some TV by the fireplace. Would honestly be so good. And you know, she's new, she's young, she's probably not done much cooking before. So she's accidentally chopping herself a bit. But it's fine. It's fine. And all of the important parts of the farm, harvesting your flowers and taking care of your animals. A little cow and some chickens. Oh, it looks like such a nice life to lead. Okay, so that's it for the build. Thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to download it, my gallery ID is down below. It's just KirstieAndrews. If you like this, please like the video so I know I make more like this, and please also subscribe to see more like this in the future and go back and check out some of my previous videos of other small houses I've done. So thanks again and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.